So what is Ubuntu and what does it mean? Well, like I mentioned earlier, it is an ancient African philosophy. But it's not just an ancient African philosophy, it's an ancient global philosophy. All ancient cultures have the same philosophy. And in a nutshell, it means unity within community. It's probably the best definition that I've been able to find for this word, Ubuntu. Unity within community, where everybody works towards the greatest benefit of all in their community by contributing their talents and their skills to be used and available to everyone, not just for you or you or you, a one-to-one exchange. It's a one-to-many exchange. Whatever I do is available to everyone to benefit from. And therein lies the fundamental difference about many of the other ideas of barter and trade and exchange that some people are out there sharing. So the contributionism philosophy is just a modern word that I came up with to try and describe this ancient philosophy called Ubuntu. And I made up this word because of the fact that you're contributing your skills. It's your contribution. So although in the beginning there was many debates about the ism, it's another ism, contributionism, and I was quite opposed to it to start off with, but somehow it stuck. We couldn't come up with a better word than contributionism. So the way I'd like to describe it, it is like no other ism we've ever had before. Because all the other isms have money attached to them. This is the only ism that I know of where we remove money from the system. So it becomes a contributionism, a whole new way of looking at how we coexist and share and create abundance for ourselves, and abundance beyond belief. So it is really proposing a world without money, because those that control the money will continue using that tool as a tool of enslavement. And as long as they've got the controlling power over this tool, there's very little we're going to be able to do about it. So if we don't use the money, they have no more control over us. So the 5-point mantra of contributionism is something that evolved. Again, it's something that evolved over a 10-year period or maybe a few lesser years. No money, no barter, no trade, no value attached to anything greater than anything else, and a system where everyone contributes their natural talents or their acquired skills for the greatest benefit of all in their community. Some people say, what happens when people first discover us on the internet or they hear about Ubuntu and say, they get all excited and they get the wrong end of the stick, right? They go, let's go back to bartering and trading. I say, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about bartering and trading. It's just another form of control. Remember, he who has more to barter or trade will ultimately rule the roost. You know, if you have more chickens than I have whatever, then you'll start laying down the rules of how things are going to work and how much I must give you for your chickens. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something completely different. So no money, that has to go. No barter, no trading of anything, no exchanging. You don't need to do any of that to create abundance for ourselves. And no value attached to anything. The only reason things have value is because we have money. The moment you remove money from the system, how do you ascribe value to anything? You know, this thing that we have value. Well, what do I get in return if I give you, a sheep, what do I get in return? Or if I give you my car, what do I get in return? The value of my car is $10,000. I want something of equal value in return. That kind of thing just flies completely out of the window once we remove money from the system. And again, we'll start seeing how we can make such a claim as we go through unlearning all the things that have been shoved down our throats and encoded in our brain through our education system. So, and remember that this whole thing about where everyone contributes their natural talents and acquired skills for the greater benefit of all, we're not just born with one talent. Most of us are born with many talents. And these talents come out of us as we grow, as we experience life, as we interact with others around us and with nature and animals around us. We discover and bring to life the other talents that we're born with. So we're not going to get stuck with one talent and do one thing in our lives. Can you see how directly in conflict that is with the current system? Because today at school we're told, what are you going to do for a living? Go out there and study something and go be good at that thing and have that career for the rest of your life. So you got to spend doing one thing for the rest of your life? Are you insane? Well, that's not part of who we are as living, breathing human beings. We create souls. We're born. The first and most important thing that we're born with is to create. We're creator souls. We want to constantly create. From the moment we are born, we make noises and sounds and bubbles and shapes with our hands and we draw. And so we want to create from the moment we come out of our mother's wombs. And that gets beaten out of us as quickly as we send our children to school. No, you can't do that. How are you going to survive doing that? No, you can't do that. Find something to do that'll earn you a living. And that's where the indoctrination begins.